Have you ever looked at someone you love, maybe your father, your grandmother, or an old friend, and felt something wasn't quite right? Not because of anything they said, but because of something quieter, the way they moved, the way they sat in silence a little longer than usual, or how they no longer finished the meals they once loved. We often believe that death and old age come suddenly. But the truth, the heartbreaking truth, is that the body whispers long before it screams. And those whispers, those subtle changes we too often dismiss, are signs. Signs that time may be running out. If you're over 70, or caring for someone who is, what you're about to hear may save you from regret. It may give you a chance to prepare, to comfort, and to hold on to every last meaningful moment. If you find this information helpful and want to keep learning from real elderly wisdom and senior health insights like this, please consider liking the video and subscribing. Your support helps us continue to share life lessons from the elderly and bring light to the quiet truths many families overlook. Sign 1. Sudden and unexplained weight loss. When 82-year-old Mr. Langley started losing weight, his daughter thought he was just eating healthier. A smaller appetite, a few loose shirts, it all seemed harmless. But within months, he was frail, easily exhausted, and constantly cold. Weight loss in the elderly, especially when unintentional, is rarely a coincidence. It's often the first warning sign that the body is no longer processing nutrients the way it should. Muscles shrink. Fat stores vanish. The immune system weakens. Even small wounds take longer to heal. And worse, it's not always about food choices. It's about the body slowly shutting down. When someone over 70 begins to eat less, loses interest in meals, or starts shedding pounds without trying, don't ignore it. Their body is whispering. And you need to listen. Sign 2. Persistent fatigue that doesn't go away with rest. There's tired, and then there's weary. The kind of weariness that no nap can fix. Helen was 79. Every morning, she'd sit by her window with a cup of tea. But over time, even lifting the cup became a burden. "I'm just tired today," she said. But today became every day. Eventually, even short conversations exhausted her. Persistent fatigue isn't just aging, it's a shutdown. The body is conserving energy, prioritizing only what's essential. The heart pumps slower. Blood moves weaker. Muscles tire faster. This isn't laziness. It's not about needing motivation. It's the body asking for peace. When you notice a senior who once loved gardening now barely gets out of bed, or someone who cooked daily meals now needs help buttering toast, it's not about effort. It's a sign. A sign of something deeper. Sign 3. Withdrawal from social interaction and mental confusion. James used to tell stories, vivid, detailed memories from his youth. But one afternoon, mid-sentence, he forgot his cousin's name. The next week, he forgot where he left his phone. Then one day, he forgot what year it was. At first, his family laughed it off. "He's just getting old," they said. But soon, James stopped telling stories altogether. He became quiet, confused, detached. Cognitive decline, confusion, forgetfulness, these aren't just signs of memory loss. They're signs that the brain isn't receiving the oxygen, the nutrients, the energy it needs. It's a slow fade. A dimming of the lights, room by room. When someone you love starts to pull away emotionally, becomes less expressive, or loses interest in the world around them, pay attention. This is not just aging, it's preparation. The brain, like the rest of the body, prepares for the end long before it arrives. And sometimes, the silence speaks louder than words. Sign 4. Recurring infections and slow healing. Marjorie had always been strong. "I raised 6 kids and never caught a cold," she liked to say. But at 84, everything changed. A small cut on her leg didn't heal. She caught the flu twice in 3 months. And then a simple urinary infection left her hospitalized for a week. The immune system is our shield. But in the final stretch of life, that shield becomes paper thin. If an elderly person begins to catch infections more frequently, or takes longer to recover, it's not random. It's the body telling you that its defense systems are shutting down. Slow healing is a sign of reduced circulation, poor immune response, and a lack of energy to repair. And often, the signs are subtle. Swollen ankles that stay that way. Bruises that don't fade. Scratches that scab but never seem to fully heal. Watch these closely. They are the red flags that families only understand in hindsight. Don't wait until hindsight becomes grief. Sign 5. Change in breathing patterns and unexplained restlessness. Late one night, Richard's wife, Eva, noticed something strange. His breathing had changed. Shallow, quiet, then suddenly loud gasps. He seemed restless in bed, tossing, turning, mumbling. But by morning, he didn't wake up. Changes in breathing, especially during sleep, can be one of the final signs the body is preparing to let go. This isn't just about snoring or a bit of sleep apnea. It's a rhythm change. A shift in the natural cycle of breath. As the heart weakens, oxygen levels drop. Breathing becomes irregular, sometimes labored, sometimes too quiet. And restlessness at night can mean the body is struggling silently. When someone over 70 begins having trouble sleeping, starts breathing differently, or appears unusually anxious or agitated at night, don't assume it's nothing. This could be one of the most subtle, yet powerful signs that the body is nearing its limit. If you're still watching and this has opened your eyes to something real, something you felt in your heart but didn't know how to explain, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. This is a space where elderly reflections meet science, and where life lessons from the elderly can help us all make sense of what's coming next. Stay close. Because the quiet moments often hold the deepest truths. Margaret used to love mornings. She'd water her plants, open her curtains wide, and hum softly as she made her tea. But lately, she just sat in her chair, staring out the window. Not because she had nothing to say, but because saying it now felt like too much effort. No more humming. No more morning tea. Just silence. This is what the final year of life often looks like. It's not dramatic. It's not always full of pain or fear. Sometimes, it's simply fading. Today, we'll continue exploring the subtle but powerful signs that someone may be nearing the end of their life, specifically, what to watch for in their daily patterns, moods, and physical behavior. Recognizing these signs isn't about fear. It's about respect, for time, for dignity, and for the sacredness of every moment that remains. Sign 6. Loss of interest in hobbies, conversations, or routine activities. There's a special kind of sadness in watching someone put away the things they once loved. Harold was a chess player. Sharp, strategic, always ready with a grin after a win. But one day, his board stayed folded. His granddaughter set up the pieces, trying to tempt him. "Not today," he said. And then "not today" became "maybe later." And finally, "I don't feel like it anymore." Apathy, losing interest in once cherished activities, isn't laziness. It's not boredom. It's often the body and mind preparing for release. The joy that hobbies bring, the spark they ignite, requires energy, focus, presence. And when the end draws near, that energy is quietly redirected inward, toward peace, toward closure. If someone stops gardening, even when the weather is perfect, if the TV plays, but their eyes drift elsewhere, if books go unread, projects go untouched, and conversations trail off into silence, don't just call it slowing down. It's a whisper. A signal that their mind is stepping back from the world, one interest at a time. Sign 7. Decline in personal hygiene or appearance. Mildred was once the queen of neatness. Nails always filed, lipstick just right, her silver hair combed with pride. But lately, her daughter noticed she stopped putting on her favorite earrings, stopped brushing her hair some mornings, even forgot to change her clothes. "I just don't feel like it," she'd say. This change isn't about depression, although that's sometimes part of it. It's deeper. A soft withdrawal from the world's demands. When someone stops caring for their appearance, it can be a sign they're letting go, not of pride, but of the need to maintain what once mattered in daily life. It's not neglect. It's a redirection of energy. And often, it comes quietly, gradually, like winter settling in after a long summer. Pay attention to how they dress, how they smell, whether they're still interested in looking presentable for visitors. When grooming becomes a chore they no longer bother with, it's time to look deeper. This is more than aging. It's an emotional preparation for parting. Sign 8. Talking about death, the past, or going away. This one is especially hard to ignore, and easy to misunderstand. Walter was 86 when he started saying things like, "I think I've done what I came here to do," or "I hope I see my brother again soon." His children brushed it off. "Don't talk like that, Dad." But Walter wasn't being dramatic. He was being honest. He felt it. And many elderly people do. As the final year approaches, it's common for older adults to reflect more deeply. To talk about people they've lost. To dream of long-gone loved ones. Some even describe feeling called or sensing that someone's waiting. This isn't something to shut down. It's something to hold space for. The elderly often sense the nearness of the end before their bodies show it. When someone starts reminiscing more, saying goodbye in small ways, or bringing up spiritual themes, even if they were never religious, it's worth listening closely. These moments are part of their journey. Let them speak. Let them remember. Let them say what they need to say, without fear or dismissal. Sign 9. Irregular breathing, cold extremities, and physical stillness. One evening, as Charles sat quietly in his recliner, his daughter noticed something strange. His feet were ice cold. His hands had a bluish hue. And his breathing had changed, not labored, but shallow and spaced far apart. The doctor later explained. The body is conserving blood flow for vital organs. The end may be near. In the final stages of life, physical signs become more visible. Circulation slows, especially to the hands and feet. Breathing becomes irregular, sometimes fast and shallow, sometimes with long pauses. And movement decreases. The person may spend hours, even days, in bed or in one position, barely shifting. This stillness isn't sleep. It's the body moving inward. Slowing down, letting go. If you see someone who once moved with purpose now lying still, hardly reacting to conversation, if their hands feel cold, their skin looks pale or mottled, if their breathing becomes uneven or strange, call for care. But also, be there. Sit close. Hold their hand. Because these signs aren't just about the end. They're invitations to stay present, even in silence. Sign 10. Sudden burst of energy or lucidity before decline. This one surprises many people. Just days before his passing, Thomas, who hadn't spoken clearly in weeks, sat up, smiled, and told his wife, "You look beautiful today." He asked for his favorite meal. Told a joke. Even sang part of an old song. The next morning, he was gone. Doctors call it terminal lucidity. It's when someone who's been fading suddenly seems better. Brighter. Clear. It's not a recovery, it's a final gift. This phenomenon isn't well understood. But many families report it. A day or two of clarity. Of smiles. Of goodbye. If you experience this with someone you love, treasure it. Don't assume they're improving. Don't plan for next week. Be present for now. Because sometimes, it's the soul's way of saying, "I'm ready." These signs, when seen together, tell a story. A story not of fear, but of transition. Not of giving up, but of preparing. It's hard to watch someone fade. It's harder still to feel helpless. But recognizing these signs gives you something powerful. The chance to love more deeply in the time that remains. To listen when they speak of old memories. To sit quietly when there are no more words. To make peace. To say, "I'm here." And to say goodbye, with open hands and a full heart. If this message has helped you understand something you've been sensing about yourself, your parent, your friend, please stay with us. There's one more part, and it may be the most important yet. There's a moment, quiet, fragile, when everything changes. Not loudly. Not suddenly. But gently. The house becomes quieter. The phone rings less. The routines soften. And the person you've always known seems more distant. Not physically, not yet, but emotionally, spiritually. As though a part of them is already walking towards something else. This is the final part of our message. A continuation not of fear, but of clarity. Because when you understand what's truly happening in the last year of life, you can let go of panic and hold on to what matters most. Presence, peace, and love. Sign 11. Sleep increases dramatically. In the final stages of life, sleep is no longer just rest. It becomes refuge. Lucille, once an early riser who adored reading the paper with her morning toast, began sleeping later. Then napping through the day. Eventually, she spent most of her hours in bed, sometimes opening her eyes for just a few minutes at a time. Her family worried. "She's sleeping too much," they said. But the doctor explained gently, her body is preparing. It needs more rest now than activity. When an elderly person begins sleeping excessively, especially after previously being alert and involved, it's a strong sign the body is conserving energy. Systems are slowing down. The heart, the lungs, the digestive system, they're all beginning their quiet retreat. This isn't something to fight. It's something to honor. Let them rest. Let them dream. And when they wake, just be there. Sometimes, presence is the only medicine left. Sign 12. Loss of appetite and difficulty swallowing. Food is life. So when someone stops eating, it feels terrifying. But it's also natural. At the end of life, the body no longer processes hunger signals in the same way. It doesn't need the fuel it once did. Digestion becomes burdensome. Swallowing can become difficult or even dangerous. Jonathan, age 88, loved his evening soup and toast. But one day, he started refusing meals. His daughter tried everything, favorite dishes, smoothies, treats. But nothing worked. It wasn't stubbornness. It was biology. At this point, forcing food can cause more harm than good, aspiration, discomfort, even choking. Instead, think comfort. Small sips of water or broth. Moist pieces of fruit. A cool cloth on the lips. Ask not, what should they eat? Ask, what feels good right now? When the appetite fades, it's not about giving up. It's about letting the body choose what it needs, and doesn't. Sign 13. Changes in skin color, temperature, and nail tone. As circulation weakens, the signs appear in the smallest places. Fingertips that turn purple. Feet that stay cold, no matter the blanket. Pale or mottled skin along the legs or arms. Nails that lose their color, turning bluish or gray. These aren't signs of sickness, they're signs of transition. The blood, once flowing freely to every corner of the body, is now focused on vital organs. It's the body's quiet strategy to preserve life for just a little longer. There's no need for panic. But there is need for care. Warm blankets. Gentle massages. Light, loving touch. And perhaps most important, presence. Because in this stage, comfort is found more in closeness than in any medicine. Sign 14. Terminal agitation or restlessness. Sometimes, in the last weeks or days, calm gives way to something else, agitation. Hands picking at sheets. Legs twitching. Eyes darting as if searching. Mumbling, confusion, even expressions of fear. It can be frightening to witness. Emma, 83, spent her final 2 days constantly moving her hands, as though folding invisible laundry. She'd say things like, "We have to go soon," or "Where's my bag?" Her son held her hand, unsure of how to respond. Terminal agitation is common. The brain, as it loses oxygen, can send strange, erratic signals. The spirit, aware that something is shifting, may become restless, even if the person can't explain why. In these moments, it's crucial not to correct or argue. Instead, offer reassurance. You're safe. I'm here. You don't have to worry about anything now. These simple words, spoken gently, without judgment, can anchor someone in a storm they don't understand. Sign 15. A sense of peace, a final breath, a letting go. And then, one day, everything stills. There's no dramatic pause. No swelling music. Just stillness. For some, it's in a hospital bed, surrounded by family. For others, it's alone, in the early morning hours. But when that final breath comes, it often brings with it a sense of peace unlike anything else. The eyes soften. The hands relax. Sometimes, there's even a small smile. As though, at the very end, there is no fear. Only relief. Release. A quiet goodbye to pain, to effort, to the weight of the world. This moment is sacred. It's not something to be rushed or interrupted. If you're there, just hold space. Let the silence speak. Let your heart break, if it needs to. Let your love be felt, even if there are no more words to say. Because the last gift you can give someone is your presence, unafraid. So what can you do with this knowledge? Maybe you've seen one of these signs. Maybe you're watching them unfold, day by day. Or maybe you're just preparing, emotionally, spiritually, for what may come. Here's what matters most now. Don't waste time on denial. If something feels off, trust your intuition. Don't wait for doctors or charts to confirm what your heart already knows. Start the conversations that matter. Say the things that have been left unsaid. I love you. I'm proud of you. Thank you. These words matter now more than ever. Make comfort your priority. This isn't the time to push vitamins, demand meals, or insist on routines. It's the time to soften. To hold. To be near. Capture memories, not with cameras, but with presence. Sit in silence. Share old stories. Play their favorite music. Let them fall asleep to the sound of your voice. Protect their dignity. Even when they can't dress themselves. Even when they forget your name. They are still them. Still worthy. Still sacred. And if you're the one seeing these signs in yourself, know that you are not fading, you are transforming. You are more than your appetite. More than your strength. More than your breath. You are a life well lived. A story well told. A light that doesn't go out, it simply returns home. If this message brought clarity or comfort, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more real insights, elderly reflections, and gentle wisdom. We're here to share life lessons from the elderly, truths that guide, support, and remind us what really matters at the end of a life, and at every stage before it. Because the more we understand death, the more fully we live. Thank you for being here.